Johnson will get an opening statement, and we'll go ahead and open it up to some questions. Coach.
Okay. Terrific second half for our team. Really proud of them. Those guys that were in there in the second half, that, man, they played both ends of the floor, and they were hustling, and they played with a lot of passion. We finally started playing a little bit smarter and took better care of the ball. And the performance that Dejon, and specifically Dejon, to start with him, and also Colin in terms of the backcourt, the way they dominated, getting to the basket and making shots for us and making good decisions. And then Dante Hall is in there rebounding for us, and catching those short passes from those guys, being ready, we made our free throws tonight, which is huge for us. We got on a pretty good streak there in the second half, and even Dejon missed too early, but we found a way to make our free throws, which was a great sign for us. Anytime we shoot 70+% from the free throw line in a game, that bodes pretty well for us. But as you continue to see, we're not a finished product. Hopefully I won't continue to say that forever. But we have some areas we need to clean up. And fortunately, we were able to clean them up after another win at home.
Thank you, Coach. Sutton, Mark on the right.
Two quick ones. First, John Petty, we didn't see that much in the second half. What's going on with him?
Well, it's just, lineups. We were searching there for a minute, and we got a lineup in there that started to get some momentum, so we just thought we should ride with it. And fortunately, it worked out for us. And we've had other games, maybe when some other guys like John is in there, and we just decided to go with that lineup. But we were desperate, and we were down, and those guys seemed to have a lot of energy, so we just stuck with them.
Dejon mentioned that being the veteran, he senses when it's time to sort of take over the game and push the issue. How many conversations have you had with him about that, and how have you seen him sort of grow into that role this year?
Well, we've been having some conversations over the last 2 days, and we've worked on these free throws, and we've had some quiet time to talk about certain situations, and he and I, just like all of the guys, we have a great relationship. So just spending that extra time after practice on the court, talking, and trying to get our guys just to trust that we know what we see, and we're trying to help them maximize their potential. And he trusted it. Unfortunately tonight, specifically from the free throw line, he wasn't perfect, but boy, he sure made them when we needed him.
Jalen?
Colin obviously probably didn't have the start that he wanted to have, missing his first 5 or 6 shots. How did you see him sort of respond to that, and how did you see him kind of come alive in the second half?
Well, you saw a sign of maturity, because you're not going to be able to just drive and do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. So what happens when there's some adversity, or when other teams who scout, the Louisiana Tech guys, trust me, they scouted us. They didn't come in here and just roll out the balls and say, well, we're going to let the three-point shooters shoot threes, and we're going to let the penetrators penetrate. No, they scout. So, they had a game plan of trying to get 3 on the ball when Colin had the basketball, and, he had some tough looks in the first half, but got some better looks in the second half, and then his teammates made him better in certain situations by getting him the ball when he was open. But it's just a sign of maturity. Maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, he wouldn't have been able to respond in situations like this.
The left side, sir.
Speaking of maturity, I guess, Riley came in and gave you some valuable minutes. How's it changed your rotation and what you can do with him back from injury?
Yeah, it's tough because, we thought about starting him tonight. But, because we've been getting in some foul trouble early in the game, and offensively, we just haven't had the rhythm. But Riley gave us some huge minutes. Alex Reese, both of those guys, Reese and Riley, their numbers are not going to blow you away on the stat sheet. But defensively, the way they helped us, especially when we went to a little bit of a matchup zone to try to slow them down, those guys were critically important. But that's what Riley does. He defends. He's our hard hat guy. And some nights, even if he's not making a three-point shot, he can still contribute to our success.
Stay on the left side, Michael.
Dejon said that if they missed their free throws, they're going to make them run. They were 16 for 18 in the second half. How much do you think that was a factor?
No, that's only in practice. But, You know, you look at him tonight with his free throws. He didn't shoot his free throws in 0.5 seconds. He relaxed for the first 3 or 4 seconds. You know, we talk a lot about positive imagery. He started to think about making and seeing the free throw go in before he actually took it. And then he was able to engage his legs and relax his body, and he had more success at the line. So hopefully we'll continue to see a consistent pattern of that.
Jump over the right side, Alex.
There was a lot of good ball movement tonight. It seemed, especially that it was a concerted effort to get the ball inside to Dante. Just can you speak to that? His game inside, he got big dunks and energy right there.
It was huge for us, especially when they went to their 1-3-1 zone. Their zone is giving a lot of teams problem. But fortunately, we worked on it, and Dante timed it perfectly, and we were able to get him some looks right underneath the basket. Credit our guys for making on-time, on-target passes. Your plays work a whole lot better when we can do that. But those guys, again, when we got desperate and we were down and there was a lot of adversity, we seem to have played a lot better. We just need to get more minutes, quality minutes, playing that way at the start of the game and throughout the game.
Another thing Dazon said was that you're actually a really bad ref during practice. But no, it seemed like there were some frustrating calls from the refs. How do you feel that your team was able to respond to that? How did they handle that?
I think the word is getting out that we don't complain, okay? We do not complain to officials. If there needs to be a clarification on a call, I talk to the official. So even if things didn't go our way, if you thought you got fouled, if you thought it was a charge, our guys, we're not showing up officials at Alabama, okay? That says something about your DNA and your culture when you can play through adversity. And we sure played through it in our last game. And I think some of the lessons from that game carried over tonight, especially in the second half. But yes, I am a bad official at practice, and it's intentional.
Go in the front row, Drew.
A couple questions, Coach. First, to start the game, Giddens got the 2 quick fouls, but I thought Galen Smith gave you some really good minutes, and he seems to have improved so much since the trip to Canada. Talk about him, and then in the second half, you guys hit that lull offensively, then Alex Reese sparked you, and really I thought gave you some hidden minutes there where you really hit the glass and gave you a spark.
Yeah, and as it relates to Daniel, when you've sat out an entire year, all right, or 14 months from playing basketball, it just takes a little time to find your rhythm, and he'll be okay. A couple of fouls there were maybe out of position, so we'll get him in better position, but he'll be fine. But Reese stepped up for us, especially in our zone. Boykins was hot on us in the first half. He made his first 2 threes, and then he was 0 for 9 the rest of the way. And a lot of that was because Reese was in the back of our zone on the right side, and he did a really nice job of understanding, how effective of a 3-point shooter Boykins is, and he got out there and really contested his shots, or he denied him the basketball.
And then coming off of the Minnesota situation, the 3-on-5, and then tonight where it was an uphill battle until almost the end of the game. They led for most of the game. What have you learned about the competitive spirit of your club?
Yeah, I think it's at a high level. We've been talking about that since day one. We easily could have had somebody else on our schedule tonight. We know how good and knew how good Louisiana Tech was. When you look at Bracey, Boykins, Harris, didn't have his best night tonight. Those guys can play at a lot of SEC schools. And they're going to have a chance, again, to either win their conference or come in second and maybe win their conference tournament. That's what we're about in terms of scheduling. We could have had a cupcake night, win by 30, everybody go home happy, or we can experience some adversity. We experienced a lot of it tonight with Tech.
We have time for 2 more questions. Anything else? Mark, you got one? Last question here.
You mentioned Riley Norris' stat sheet not jumping out at you. I'm looking here, I'm putting my glasses. 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 or 3 charges taken. Looks like pretty good stats to me.
Well, I know you're a type of guy, Mark. No, you want it to be 14 points and 14 rebounds and 4 steals, all right, and no turnovers, all right, and then you tweet about it. All right, thanks, guys.
Coach.